control. Casemiro! And in!
Querían tirar la pared, ahí está el rechazo, voleo.
Nice ball in that header. Brilliant!
Dark clouds hung low over Old Trafford in early 2025. On the pitch, Casemiro, a titan of the game, found himself at a crossroads. Not long ago, he was a pillar of Real Madrid's dynasty. Now, even this great warrior faced the spectre of decline. Whispers in the stands suggested that at 33, his best days were gone. How had it come to this? To find the answer, we must journey back to where his legend was born and trace the extraordinary highs and gut-wrenching lows that defined a true champion's road to reinvention. Casemiro's story begins amid Real Madrid's modern dynasty. Arriving as a raw 20-year-old from Brazil, he quickly grew into the beating heart of one of the club's most successful eras. He anchored a sensational midfield trio with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, a unit so balanced and dominant that it rivaled the greatest midfield combinations of all time. With every tackle, interception, and line-breaking pass, Casemiro cemented his importance. His efforts helped Real Madrid conquer Europe not once, but 5 times, 5 UEFA Champions League titles, an almost unfathomable haul in the modern era. Casemiro was often the unsung hero, sweeping up danger to allow his more attacking teammates to shine. Yet, he had his share of iconic moments. For years, he was the shield in front of Madrid's defense, the quiet warrior doing the dirty work so that the artists could create freely. His teammates knew they could rely on him as the tireless protector of the backline. He even scored a crucial goal in the 2017 Champions League final, a long-range strike that deflected past Gianluigi Buffon, tilting the match in Madrid's favour. By the time he left Madrid in 2022, he'd won every major trophy there was to win, including 5 Champions League triumphs. In total, he amassed 18 trophies with Real Madrid. More importantly, he developed the mentality of a warrior who had been on the biggest stages and never flinched. In Madrid's brightest nights, Casemiro thrived under pressure, embodying an unyielding desire to fight until the end. In August 2022, at 30 years old and at the peak of his powers, Casemiro stunned the football world by swapping Madrid for Manchester. Some in England questioned the £70 million fee. Graham Souness even branded him a steady Eddie. Casemiro answered the skeptics on the pitch. He brought immediate authority to United's midfield, barking instructions, crunching into tackles, and even scoring key goals. That season, he helped United claim a long-awaited trophy. He even scored at Wembley in that final. The critics who had doubted him fell silent as his winning mentality took root at Old Trafford. Yet, as the 2024-25 season wore on, Casemiro's influence waned. Niggling injuries and suspensions disrupted his rhythm, and the once omnipresent midfield enforcer looked a yard slower, arriving late to battles he used to dominate. Whispers began. Was age catching up with the 33-year-old champion? The low point? It came in a nightmarish 0-4 loss to Crystal Palace. Casemiro played out of position in defense amid an injury crisis, was dribbled past 8 times, the most by any player in the league that season. Time and again, younger opponents skipped past him at will. He left the pitch that day looking a shadow of his former self. So-called experts declared him finished. Jamie Carragher, a Liverpool legend, even claimed the football left him at this top level. He needs to call it a day. It was a public gut punch, echoed in headlines and social media. For many, it felt like an epitaph being written for his career. For Casemiro, hearing such disrespect was brutal, but he didn't crumble. Instead, he quietly steeled himself for one last fight. Before the sun rose the next day, he was already on the training pitch, pushing his body in extra drills and vowing that his story at the top level wasn't over. By spring 2025, signs of a revival emerged. A new manager, Ruben Amorim, put his faith in the veteran and even prioritized the UEFA Europa League as United's best chance at silverware. Amorim and Casemiro both knew that triumph in Europe could salvage United's season and restore them to the Champions League. Casemiro embraced the challenge. Teammates noticed the fire in his eyes returning. He adjusted his style, relying on smart positioning and experience more than raw pace. He became the first to arrive at training and the last to leave, leading by example. With each match, his confidence returned. He became a guiding presence on the field, steering the team's younger players through pressure with his voice and example. Manchester United were about to see the best of Casemiro when it mattered most. In the Europa League quarter-final second leg at Old Trafford, after a draw in the first encounter, United surged to a 2-0 lead over Lyon, only to collapse in stunning fashion. Lyon, even after going down to 10 men, fought back to 2-2 by full time. In extra time, a Ryan Cherki strike and an Alexandre Lacazette penalty left United 4-2 behind, 6-4 on aggregate. Old Trafford was stunned. The European dream was hanging by a thread. The famous stadium fell silent. Many fans could barely watch, fearing the worst. But with legs heavy and heart unyielding, Casemiro refused to surrender. In the 114th minute, he charged into the box and earned a penalty for United, a lifeline that Bruno Fernandes calmly slotted home for 4-3. The crowd's belief ignited. Incredibly, United scored twice more in the dying moments. A young substitute made it 4-4, and then Harry Maguire's last gasp header clinched a 5-4 victory. 3 goals in 6 minutes had completed a European miracle. Casemiro, exhausted but ecstatic, sank to his knees and roared in triumph. A tie that had looked lost was won. Redemption in its purest form. Riding that momentum, United produced another vintage performance in the semi-final first leg away at Atletico Bilbao. Once again, Casemiro rose to the occasion, literally, with a powerful header that helped United surge to a 2-0 lead. He even nearly scored again, his flicked header bouncing off the post. The emphatic 3-0 win put United on the brink of the final and underlined Casemiro's resurgence. In Bilbao, the normally thunderous San Mamés crowd had been silenced. Back in England, the doubters were finally quiet as well. In the span of a few weeks, Casemiro had propelled United from the brink of elimination to the verge of a European final. The man supposedly past his prime was now bossing the midfield on one of Europe's toughest stages, silencing any remaining doubters. Casemiro pumped his fist towards the United faithful in the stands, his face full of vindication. Casemiro's late career resurgence proved something that statistics can never measure. The heart of a champion never stops beating. This season wasn't just a revival, it was a reminder, a message to every young footballer, every veteran, every fan who's been written off. The end isn't dictated by the critics, it's dictated by the fire within. He adapted, he endured, he evolved. When his legs couldn't carry him like before, his mind became sharper. When others questioned his future, he redefined his present. And that's what makes his story matter. Not just the trophies, though there are many. Not just the titles, though they are elite. It's the resilience, the grit, the refusal to fade quietly. When the banners of Madrid fell behind him and the doubters in England rose to bury him, Casemiro stood tall. He was the same man who terrorized midfields in Paris, Turin, Munich, now doing it in Lyon and Bilbao. From the Champions League to the Europa League, from the roar of the Bernabeu to the storms of Old Trafford, he carried the same fire. And in that fire, he found something rare. Not just redemption, but legacy. If you like this story, smash that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments who you want us to feature next. Until next time, keep believing in the beautiful game.